So if you go back to the book of 1 Samuel chapter 15, this is a story of King Saul. Saul is a Benjamite. He's from the tribe of Benjamin. His father's a man named Kish, and he does some good things, he does some bad things, and it's all kind of coming to a head here in 1 Samuel chapter 15 because Saul is leading his army against the Amalekites. God gives him a very particular command: kill everything, destroy everything. When you go back into the book of Exodus, there is a story where Moses and the children of Israel are faced off by the Amalekites. And Moses has to hold his hands up in the air, and when his hands go down, the Israelites start losing. When his hands are held up, the Israelites start winning. And at the end of that fight, God makes a promise. I am going to war against the Amalekites for generation to generation. Here's Israel again now in 1 Samuel chapter 15 fighting against the Amalekites, and God gives Saul the command, destroy them. This is a fight going back years before you were born, Saul. Destroy them. And Saul doesn't. Fast forward to the book of Esther. You have a lot of Jews living in Persia, and more importantly, you have Jews living in Shushan the palace. And this man rises to power. His name is Haman. And Haman, we are told, is an Agagite. Most scholars believe that Haman was an Amalekite, maybe even a descendant of King Agag. We're just told that he was an Agagite, and that was an important piece of information. Now when you look at Mordecai, who was the cousin or adopted father of Esther, and Mordecai is from the tribe of Benjamin as well, and he is a descendant of Kish. Esther and Mordecai are descendants of Saul's family. Now you have Saul's family, especially Mordecai, and he is facing off against Haman the Agagite. And the king of Persia gives a command and says everyone must bow down and give honor to this man named Haman, the Agagite. Mordecai refuses to bow to him. Mordecai's friends start asking him, why are you doing this? And he won't answer them. The only answer he will give is that I am a Jew. Now Haman had done nothing to the Jews at this point. I think it's important to realize that this is not the same situation as the three Hebrew children. This wasn't a religious thing. There was something about the Agagite, the Amalekite, that Mordecai refused to honor. And when Haman realized that Mordecai was not bowing, it caused hatred in his heart, and he devised not to kill Mordecai, but to kill all Jews. This is a spiritual battle. Amalekite against Israelite. This is a thing that has been going on for centuries. And this is why Haman wasn't really interested in just getting revenge on Mordecai. He wanted to kill all the Jews. Haman gets permission from the king to make a decree that all the Jews should be killed on the 13th day of the 12th month. Mordecai sends a message to Esther and says, this is the decree that the king just made. You have to go before the king and get him to change this. And Esther answers back and says, I can't. It's against the law. And it's been 30 days since he's called for me. If I go in uninvited, I will be put to death. And Mordecai's answer to her is very interesting and weird if you don't take it in context of this entire story. Mordecai says, Esther, if you don't, in your place, your position, your authority, if you do not stand up for God's people, God will bring deliverance from somewhere else. But he said, you and your family will not escape. You will be destroyed. God will protect his people, but you will be destroyed in your family as well. Where did this come from? Why is Mordecai so sure that Esther's family will be destroyed even if everyone else is saved? Let's go back to Mordecai and Esther's family. Saul disobeyed against Agag, and God took the kingdom out of his hands. All of his sons were killed. Saul commits suicide on the battlefield. The rest of his family is removed from royalty, and God brings another named King David to take his place. In Mordecai's family history, God removed them and brought another for deliverance. Saul had his chance, and he didn't do what God told him to do. He was the one in position of power. He was put there for that reason, and he said no, and so God removed him and brought in another. So Esther said, okay, it's my turn. I will do what God said. Now you fast forward. Haman is executed. Mordecai is put in a position of power, but there's still this decree on the books. We won't be able to remove the first decree, but we'll just say that the Jews can defend themselves. They can put themselves together for war and fight on this day to preserve themselves. In Esther chapter 9, verse 11, and I think 15 and 16, if you read closely, it talks about how they destroyed those that came against them, but in the decree, it was said that they could take the spoils. But in chapter 9, it says that they didn't take the spoils. When Saul went up against Agag and the Agagite, he not only disobeyed God, he not only didn't do what God wanted him to do, but the people took the spoil. Now in Esther, Saul's family get a second chance at the Agagites. They kill them, but they don't take the spoil. In other words, they are repairing. They are stepping up to the plate in all of the ways that Saul had not done. This is a story of redemption. God roots for us and cheers us on when we try to make things right, to do better the second time. And so if you've made a mistake or you've got something in your past that's bothering you, don't allow it to make you give up. Maybe you were divinely destined to fight this battle right now. And you can either let that thing in your past destroy you, or you can learn from it, just like Esther learned from Saul, and move forward, because God is the God of second chances. I hope you enjoyed this Bible study. If you did, subscribe to our channel, share it with your friends and family on social media, and we will see you on the next 5-minute Bible study.